Breakfast with Bridgett on this Thursday, August 15th. I'm Bridgett Ellison. Glad to wake up with you here on News 6 Plus and clickorlando.com. We have lots of good stories this morning, some good weather news. We have a live interview with a doctor coming up talking about the freshman 15. Do you know what that is? Do you remember that? Did you experience, did you live through it? We'll talk to a doctor about what you could do as a student, as a parent as well, and a lot of the health conscious things that we can look at when it comes to our college students and graduates. That is still ahead this morning. Also taking a look at the Lake Mary All-Star Little League. They pulled off a win last night in the Little League World Series, so they are advancing. That's exciting. We'll recap that with Justin Wormuth in a little bit. But first, heading over to the Pinpoint Traffic Center with Chief Meteorologist Candace Campos. And we had a little fun this morning. Said our friend Les is on the way to town, Candace.
Less humidity.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'm going to say it, and, normally I don't say it's the best weather because people have their different opinions on, what weather they like. It's too hot, it's too cold, it's not raining enough. But I'm just going to say it. I think it's going to be the best summer weekend weather-wise.
Okay.
Here in Central Florida so far this season. I think so.
So we don't need to waste this one. Don't stay in watching TV.
I mean, how many times have you heard me say, find creative ways of staying cool? This is going to be a day where you want to stay inside. It's going to be so stormy. All these things, make sure you're staying hydrated, which you should always stay hydrated. But, at the end of the day, the heat risk went from extreme yesterday to minor as we head into the weekend. So got some good news. Now, it is a rare cold front, Bridgett. That's what's bringing in some of that drier air. Now, we're not talking about a punch where you're going to need the sweaters. But when we've been feeling like 110 to 115 degrees, and we zap out all that humidity and it feels like 95, that's going to feel like a 10 to 15 degree drop in temperatures. So it's certainly going to be something that will be noticeable, where you walk outside Saturday morning like, oh, this feels nice. So making sure that you plan out.
I'm ready to go to the farmer's market.
I already thought about doing that this weekend. You're welcome, Central Florida. We're planning out your weekend. All right, let's take it to the maps. Let's go to Links 1. A rare cold front is coming in. Now, even though the cold front right now is moving through Central Florida, the rain is still expected to linger this afternoon, primarily from Orlando southward towards our beaches as well. It's still humid today. That dry air is going to take a little bit of time to actually get into Central Florida and settle. Once it does, by Friday into the weekend, dry, comfortable conditions will be expected. Now, cooler, but still summer. We're still talking about temperatures in the 90s, although our overnight lows Saturday morning and Sunday morning will be in those low 70s. Some of our interior locations could actually be dipping into the upper 60s. So something to look forward to. And we still have the tropics. It's still hurricane season after all, but this same cold front is what's actually keeping Ernesto 700 plus miles away from Central Florida. If not, Ernesto could have been a much more of a close call for us here in Central Florida if it wasn't for this front. So it is still going to be bringing us some pretty hazardous conditions beach-wise for your weekend. So there's Ernesto there on the corner of your screen. There's a cold front. You can see it's kind of nudging Ernesto towards Bermuda, unfortunately, but at least away from us here in Central Florida. So let's look here at the clouds and rain forecast. Again, that main front is situated a little further south, but because we still have moisture in place, that northeasterly breeze will keep temperatures below average for today, but we are still going to be seeing some of that rain lingering into the afternoon. A couple pop-up scattered showers and thunderstorms by dismissal time by 3-4 o'clock in the afternoon. And then once we're done with the rain by 6 p.m., we're going to be done with the rain for pretty much most of the weekend, as rain chances will be staying below about 10%. So as we take you here hour by hour, 92 will be your high. Our average for this time of the year is 94. So below average. And it's nice when it's below average and we're not talking about a tropical system sitting overhead. That is why we're really looking forward to this nice break from the humidity. Temperatures will cool down slightly, but it's really going to be felt in that humidity category. Look at the mid-level moisture map here. All the brown colors there showing that drier air really encompassing most of the Sunshine State, while Ernesto continues to zip out towards Bermuda. Now, even though, again, we're still talking about a system far off our shore. We're talking 7-foot seas there. Long swells will make it rough along our beaches. We do have a high risk of rip currents, small craft advisory, rough surf as well. Now let's look at those temperatures, the versus heat index. So today is still going to be below average, but we still have humidity, which is what will make it feel hotter, up to 102. Well, it cool down a little further on Friday, but look at the feels like. Only 5 degrees hotter rather than 10 degrees hotter than the actual temperature. So it's going to be feeling real nice, real comfortable, at least until about Sunday, and then we'll ramp up those temperatures. Look at Saturday morning. We're talking temperatures upper 60s, low 70s. So, Trooper Steve, who was quite, skeptical of our cold front that we talked about earlier this week, I think he's on the cold front bandwagon now. I think he might actually enjoy his backyard with a cup of coffee and his girls, as he calls them, his doggies. And the weather's just going to be great. So get outside, enjoy it. If you are planning on heading out to the beaches, it is going to be a nice beach day on the sand. It's in the waters that will be a bit more concerning. Lake Mary Little League, we were talking about that at the start of Breakfast with Bridgett. We've got the next game on Friday. Of course, it's not local, but we, of course, want to make sure that everybody remembers that it is Friday that they will be playing. And then summer returns with a vengeance as we head into early Monday and Tuesday. So enjoy it. When does the nice weather ever fall on a weekend? Rarely, right? I mean, that's what it feels like. It feels like the rain always comes in or the real hot stuff comes in on the weekends. This case, embrace it. It won't last long.
Looking forward to it. Almost there.
Almost.
All right. Thanks, Candace.
You're welcome.
All right. Let's head on over to Trooper Steve and see if he concurs. He's out in result 1. And hey there, Trooper Steve. So what is the plan? Is it a get her done weekend or like a lounge around on the patio weekend?
Well, like Candace said before, you guys, I love how she gets to drop her bombs and then disappears and then I'm here kind of thing. But no, she was right. This week I was like, really, Chief, you giving us a cold front? And then the way she started to explain it this week, it's going to feel different. And I'm
that dry air.
I'm preaching age here, but I love a moment of serenity in my backyard.
Earlier.
Just silence.
Yes.
Early, like super early. Like I'm talking 7:30 in the morning. For us, you and I, that's sleeping in. So I'm excited for Saturday, and I have
the birds
no
are
plans.
chirping.
And I'm not.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm there. I'm with you. So cheers. Cheers to the waking up early on the weekend. That's
right. But Bridgett, we've got nice weather today. We've got decent things going on, but we have a mess on the Florida Turnpike right now.
Okay.
So the Florida Turnpike right now is completely shut down. And this has been shut down since just before our morning show started at 5 a.m. Crash happened probably about 4:30 this morning. All lanes northbound are shut down at I-4. And this really, really messes things up a little bit. What you're looking at here is DOT cam of those northbound lanes. I-4 would be directly behind this camera, and you're seeing some large equipment out there. So from what I understand, a vehicle struck a pedestrian out here. That pedestrian was launched into the roadway, and then that pedestrian was subsequently hit by another vehicle.
Oh, no.
They're not exactly sure where this pedestrian came from, but it's out there. So this is what we're looking at when it comes to the graph. Look, the backups are so intense that I would almost say avoid the turnpike, but in some cases a lot of people can't do that. So as you're traveling northbound this morning, you will get into those delays almost immediately when you begin to hit State Road 528. Now, depending where you're going, I need you to think outside the box. If you're using the turnpike possibly to get to downtown, maybe you could use 417 this morning. Maybe if you take the turnpike to get up towards Winter Garden or Windermere, maybe you're taking 535 this morning. So because this is in such a vital spot, a lot of people need to watch out. This will be closed probably for another 2 hours or so. Really, really messing us up. Westbound I-4, super slow in Seminole County from Lake Monroe all the way to Lake Mary Boulevard. So take it nice and easy. No crash out there this morning. So you just need to increase your following distance, and you'll be decent. Your drive time from there is high, 38 minutes from Seminole, Sanford area to downtown Orlando. But downtown, you guys aren't doing too bad either this morning. Just the school zones, Bridgett, people have to watch out for. So again, Turnpike's the biggest problem we're watching. Man, Bridgett, we had a crash there yesterday down in Osceola County. Really messed things up. Thank goodness no one died. But then unfortunately this morning, a fatal crash investigation taking place. And we know 4 or 5, possibly longer, when it takes hours to clean these type of situations up.
I hate to hear that. So,
Yeah.
like you said, that takes hours. So we'll be watching
Hours.
those updates.
So,
and we'll push out updates when it finally clears up.
Yeah, I would say probably 9:30, 10 o'clock, we could probably start to look at things getting a little bit normal out there. Just waiting for some type of notification from FHP, and we'll, of course, we'll put out a push alert. And that's why I tell get that Pinpoint app, because the News 6 app, you're not just getting the news stuff. You're going to get an alert to say, hey, maybe I need to avoid this area.
Yeah, and if you don't want the alerts, you can turn them off too. It's an option, but it's good to have.
Yeah, you pick which alerts you want. So it's pretty easy.
It's good.
But keeping the school thing going, today I am going to be going to meet an amazing individual. Her name is Officer Ashley Pierce. So she is an Oviedo police officer, and she was awarded a Lifetime Achievement Award from the Florida Association of School Resource Officers this week. As a trooper, a lot of people think it's so weird. I have an obsession with school security, but I think it all starts there. And then it also starts with building bridges with people. They're going to grow up. They had relationships with law enforcement officers. So these guys, these gals that work in the schools, they do so much other than just representing law. They're building relationships. They're there for students when maybe they need somebody else to talk to. So today I get to welcome Officer Ashley Pierce with the Oviedo Police Department into Results One. I'm going to go pick her up at her school, and can't take her off campus because she is there to make sure the school is safe. And we're going to talk. I want to know how she achieved this, why she became an SRO, and because it is a choice. I don't think a lot of people understand that. It is a choice to go into the schools. You're not forced to go into the schools. I would not have ever wanted to do it. Now I look at it and be like, pretty cool gig, but a lot of cops have a passion for that. So we're going to get to talk to Ashley today at 10 o'clock at clickorlando.com.
Yes, they are definitely great role models and buddies for the students and the staff there on campus, and
staff.
give you peace of mind too. So it's good.
Oh,
right.
100%.
Yeah.
So we'll see you at 10.
All right, thanks. See you then. So like we mentioned, the Lake Mary All-Stars riding high this morning, and Justin Warmoth is out there in Pennsylvania with them, having fun, celebrating this win. We also talked to parents who couldn't make the trip and watched the game from Lake Mary last night. So here's a recap.
It was a nail-biter last night as Lake Mary took on Sioux Falls, South Dakota here at the Little League World Series. To set the scene for you, this is the parent section for Lake Mary. I was sitting a couple of rows behind, so I was watching them, and throughout the game, this is how they started. Towards the end, edge of their seat. That's how tense this was, but Lake Mary pulled it out, and the big reason they pulled it out is because of J.J. Feliciano. He was the starting pitcher tonight. He had 11 strikeouts, mowing down the team from South Dakota on the biggest stage for Little Leaguers, one by one, just channeling his inner Bob Ross, painting the corners. Just an incredible performance from JJ. He said after the game that despite the nearly 10,000 people in attendance here at Lamade Stadium, he just locked in on his catcher, Landon Bono. We talked to the pitcher-catcher duo after the game and the head coach. Take a listen.
I just block out all the people, just trying to hit my spots and get them off balance.
When you're sitting there, it's usually just me and my pitcher, but like you glance over a little bit and you're like, whoa. You glance over the other side, whoa, that's so many people. And then you're like, almost like in shock, you're like, what do I do here? And then you start zoning back in. It's like super cool.
I know that our community has rallied behind us. Our community is watching. They're loving this opportunity to just watch Lake Mary Little League play on a grand stage.
And that next opportunity will be tomorrow night at 7 o'clock right here at Lamade Stadium against the Northwest Region champs out of Washington State. The first pitch at 7 o'clock. Reporting in Williamsport, Pennsylvania, Justin Warmoth, getting Results, News 6.
All right, and we have lots of bonus content about the Little League World Series and our big trip out there. So you can go to clickorlando.com and look for all that bonus footage as well. Speaking of baseball, Jackie Robinson Ballpark groundbreaking, as the leaders in Daytona Beach are hosting a groundbreaking at the ballpark. This is after a $30 million renovation project at that historic park that has been years in planning in the making. Ezzy Castro has a look at what you can expect next time you head to a game.
The historic and significant undertaking that we're taking on will enhance the preservation of the important life and legacy of Jackie Robinson, who
Tonight, city leaders, along with the Daytona Tortugas, will celebrate the start of renovations of the historic Jackie Robinson Ballpark. News 6 spoke to Deputy City Manager and Fire Chief Drew Driscoll, who said the $30 million project will be divided into 2 phases, starting with the player development facility. Then it will be on to changes with the existing stadium.
the next phase of the project, phase 2, this provides enhancement to the fan experience. Improvements include updates to the restrooms and concessions.
Jackie Robinson was the first African American to play in Major League Baseball in the modern era, making his spring training debut here in Daytona Beach in March 1946.
What's most interesting about this ballpark is it is the oldest operating minor league baseball stadium within the minor league baseball. Furthermore, it's a historic structure, so we want to be mindful of the historic nature.
All right, so we'll take you there again and recap with a follow-up on that story as well. We're going to take a quick break. We'll be right back with Dr. Panchal. We'll talk about the Freshman 15 and other health-related issues for college students. All right, welcome back at 7:48. This morning we're talking about the freshman 15. You know, it's back to school. We usually think about the smaller children, the grade school children when we talk about back to school, but let's talk about the college age kids as well. So this morning we have Dr. Chirag Panchal back with us from Orlando Health. He's a family physician, and it's good to see you again, Doc.
It's good to see you too. Thank you for having me.
You know, we've been talking about back to school, and I imagine that you all have been busy with people trying to get those annuals scheduled and everything for the kiddos.
Very busy. It's always a busy time in the summer to get kids in physical sports participation things, a lot of kiddos.
Yeah, and what about the college students, because they are in sort of a transition period? And I know we're going to talk about the freshman 15. And you know, when you first dialed in, I talked about it from the standpoint of our parents and guardians. How can we help with that transition of getting the kids off to college, but making sure that they're also good to go health-wise?
Yeah, as parents, being a good role model is very important. And then also supporting your children and making those healthy habit choices, right? So you're going to college, reminding them that you want to prioritize sleep, stick to a regular schedule, support your physical and mental health, and then support your social well-being too. College is a great place to make those lifelong friendships that'll stay with you for the rest of your life.
Mm-hmm. And so the freshman 15, this is something that we giggle about it, but there can be multiple reasons behind that weight gain. And there could also be weight loss as well. Can you talk more about that?
Absolutely. As someone who's experienced both when he went through college, there's a lot of transition that occurs when you go to college, right? Dining halls are stacked with food that you can get unlimited of, sweet treats, as you will, late night snacking. So all of these things combined can lead to weight gain, unfortunately. At the same time, as you and I were talking before, college campuses are great places to get physical activity. So, for example, I went to a very large undergraduate campus, and so it's
Mm-hmm.
easy to walk several miles a day,
Oh, yeah.
going from classes to recreational activities. So, you can have some weight loss there too if you stay active.
Yeah, that's what I went through. I was one where I probably lost 10 to 15 in the freshman year, and then after I got to senior year and was graduating, that's when the weight came on because I was no longer walking around the campus every day. And so there are those fluctuations. So how do you how do you manage that with your college age student in terms of checking in on them but maybe not being, you don't want to be a helicopter parent, but you also don't want to be too aloof and waiting on them to reach out because you might need to kind of keep tabs on them.
Yeah. Healthy discussions and normalizing healthy discussions, I think, are very important. Just like when you go see your doctor every year, they may do a weight check, they may talk to you about BMI. I think it's also healthy to have those conversations at home as a parent. Are you developing healthy habits? Are you keeping in mind that moderation is very important? For example, if you're of age and drink alcohol, that's an easy way to get empty calories, which can lead to excessive weight gain and unhealthy habits. Opening the door for those normal, healthy discussions within families, I think, is very important.
Yeah, and you touched on like the dining halls, and so there's that variation there of on campus, off campus, meal plan, no meal plan, and so sometimes you're just maybe grabbing something on the go and get into bad habits of maybe bagels every day, or maybe it's that you're, like you said, overeating at the dining hall. But do you recommend necessarily meal plans for the kids, or what's the best approach with that when you're sending them off?
Absolutely. Meal plans are very convenient, right? You've got, maybe a dozen or so options on college campus, so it's easy to just pop into a spot and grab something. I do recommend them for ease of use, but also developing the habit of meal planning, right?
Mm-hmm.
As you mentioned, the transition from college to post college, there are no dining halls. You go to fast food restaurants. So you want to be able to develop the skills to meal plan yourself and then also have a good, healthy relationship with when you do eat out at a dining hall or at a restaurant. What are some good, healthy choices that you can get?
I remember cooking with my roommates, and that was always so fun. And you're so proud of some of those dishes. Maybe you're making it for the first time by yourself, and it's like, oh, we made lasagna or whatever. But uh, there's a certain element there of managing all those levels. You talked about mental health and spiritual health and all these things. So, what is it that they can do to check in with those things and take care of them?
Absolutely. Just taking care of yourself from the basics, right? So make sure that you're keeping a regular sleep schedule. That's, I think, very paramount. 7 to 9 hours a night. Make sure that you are doing intentional physical activity every day. 20 to 30 minutes, you don't need much. We all have busy schedules, even college age individuals, right? And then prioritizing healthy food options. So whole foods, 4 to 5 servings of fruits and vegetables per day. Hydration is very important. Stick to water. Try to avoid things like sodas, juices, and sweet teas for those sugar spikes, which can fluctuate your energy levels as well. And then, of course, good social well being. Keeping in touch with family, friends, that has been shown to be very important for overall mental health and well being as well.
And also, you can connect with your doctor, and at that point of being college age, you have a little more privacy with what you talk to your doctor about versus like maybe your parent right there with you.
Yeah, it's good to have a relationship with a doctor so that way you also have someone who understands you and is in your court, so to speak. And
Hmm.
you're absolutely right. It's good to make that transition from being a teenager where you go to the doctor with your parent to transitioning to I'm at the doctor's by myself. What are my concerns? It also develops health IQ or intuition about what should I be talking to my doctor about.
Well, Dr. Panchel, this is great advice, and it's always good to have you. Thank you for checking in with us with the college students.
Thank you so much for having me. Always great to be here.
Yes, take care.
You too.
And we talked about all these different things with back to school. And do we have time for the autism awareness? We want to tell you about autism awareness. Our Crystal Moyer spoke with some men who are helping motivate others when it comes to understanding autism and thriving.
When it comes to autism, there's a lot of misconception about the abilities of someone on the spectrum, that they can't be independent. What do you have to say to that?
Everybody feels that we want to be treated just like everyone else. If we do that, we're in trouble. We do need help. We do need special needs. We can be independent, but we need help with each other.
Are there enough programs out there?
Not even close.
Ed Kuchar was diagnosed with autism as an adult, but went on to become a professional wrestler and work as a casino dealer.
But my biggest thrill in life was starting her, was actually mentoring Shane here.
Shane Campfield is also living with autism, working as a photographer and teacher. He was diagnosed as a child.
I did have it rough when I was growing up, and just going through different programs in schools, and just, with the loss of my parents.
Both Ed and Shane are living independently, but that's not the case for most adults with autism. According to the CDC, about 5.8 million adults were living with autism in the U.S. last year. The National Institute of Health reporting only 5% were living independently. That's why Ed and Shane created the organization Hurdle to spread awareness.
Being independent and overcoming different hurdles, because Hurdle is an acronym: hard work, understanding, realization, determination, leadership, and education. All those 5 key elements, if you have those are your keys to succeed.
When they're not speaking at conferences and schools, they're teaching autistic teens and adults life skills here at Building Pathways Foundation. The group working on their social skills while creating snack skewers with owner Patty Myers.
There is a lot of kids that are teens and adults that are out there that aren't learning life social job skills, and they're just sitting at home. And so we need to change that. I think seeing someone that lives with autism and that he's overcoming hurdles, I think, is key to helping these kids know that they can do it.
Ed and Shane say it's programs like Building Pathways and Hurdle that can help improve the lives of those on the spectrum and better educate the communities they live in.
No matter what the hurdle may be, no matter the disability, autism, cerebral palsy, you name it, hurdles are out there, and those do not define who you are.
I posted more information about Hurdle, Building Pathways, and how you can help support local nonprofits assisting those with autism on clickorlando.com/insider. In the studio, Crystal Moyer, Getting Results, News 6.
All right, that's going to do it for us with breakfast. We'll see you back here for Friday's Breakfast with Bridgett at 7:30, and I'll see you today at noon for more news and weather. Take care.